Vigilant Broadcasting, the station of opportunity, presents The Chronicles of Doing Too Much with your host, Angel Riley.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How are you? It is your favorite host, Angel L. Riley, the one and only, and I am so excited to have you here tonight with me. Well, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope that you took some time to work on that vision statement as we're preparing to walk through the steps of making that power move and living the best life possible. So, just kind of as a recap of last week, we talked about setting that vision, making it plain and clear. That's more forward thinking. Where do you want to be? Where do you aspire to be? And then the mission is pretty much going to talk about the nuts and the bolts of what do we do as an organization, or what do we do as a business, or what do we want to do as an individual. So I don't want, while this segment is definitely geared towards us entrepreneurs and how we want to grow our businesses and grow our brands, I don't want you to think that vision statements and mission statements are strictly for entrepreneurship. You can have a vision for your life, and you can have a mission for your life. So if your vision, for example, your vision is to leave corporate America, for instance. That's the vision. So make it plain and clear and say, I want to leave corporate America in 5 years. There's your vision, to be free from working for a 9 to 5 within the next 5 years. So use that as a vision, make it relevant to your life. So what we do for our businesses is the same thing that we can do in general. Because remember, we define our own success. And as we close this show out, we talk about, making a solid foundation, having a good circle of friends and a good circle of influence. All of that leads you to living your best life possible. But if you don't know what your best life looks like, if you don't have a vision for that, then how can you possibly start striving to attain for that overall happiness? All right, so I just want to recap a couple of things before we move into the nitty gritty of setting up our mission statements and, how do we move forward, how we do the daily operation of whatever it is that we're doing, whether it's for our businesses or for our own individual personal goals. I just want to kind of do a quick revisit of the vision statement. So we talked about the forward thinking. I gave some examples. If you missed last week's episode on the vision statement, making it plain and clear, set the vision, make it plain and clear. If you missed that, I definitely encourage you to go and listen to the recording of it. It was a great episode, as I must say. I got really excited about it because there's nothing more motivating than setting that vision. But we want to talk about a couple of questions that you should be asking yourself as you're defining that vision, as you're setting it out to make it plain and clear. Just a couple of questions to make sure that that vision is going to get you there. And so, number one is when you're setting up your vision, where forward thinking, where do you want to be? What ultimate impact do you want your brand to have on your community, the industry, or the world? So what's that impact? So I shared in my direct sales company that my vision statement, and it's basically how I operate with my dynamic team, is that, I want to be an effective resource to help each and every person on my team to meet and exceed their personal financial goals. I want to be an effective resource. I want to make sure each and every one of them meet and exceed their personal financial goals. That's huge. And I'm just going to give a big shout out to my direct sales team. I know many of them listen to this broadcast either live or in a replay, but my team did a dynamic job last week. They had me up all night long on the last day of the month, and they took us to a next level, a next rank. So we're now in the top 25% of the company, and it was all 100% of my team. And maybe I'm going to sit here and selfishly take credit. They listened in on Wednesday night to set the vision. So they had the vision of where they see themselves in the future in terms of where we rank as a team and a company, and they just took charge. So that's just a little shameless plug. I'm sure I had nothing to do with that. That was all their motivation and hard work, and that was just a wonderful thing. It's an honor for me to have the title in the company, but that all belongs to them 100%. So I mean, it's just definitely an honor. They had the vision and they made it happen. So they had the vision and they went on a mission and they made it happen. So it's nice to be able to share that story with the world here through this broadcast on how they really take into consideration the things that we're talking about on this broadcast. You know, they've been trained on this stuff for 3 years. So really to see it in action lets you know that it works. And it's honor and it's humbling as a leader to really see it in action. So when we're talking about that ultimate impact, you really want to say, when I'm setting that vision, what is that ultimate impact? And a lot of times, that ultimate impact that we want to have has some type of financial backing to it. You know, we might want to end poverty. Well, a way to end poverty is you're looking at, you know, we're going to have some financial resources there. We might want to have world peace where it is definitely diplomacy, but there needs to be a financial resource behind doing some of the traveling. So, what is that ultimate impact? All right. Second question, when you're setting the vision plain and clear, you want to say, what way will your brand ultimately interact with other people? You know, what's your brand? I always talk about the one and only Angel L. Riley because that's my brand. That's who I am. You know, a lot of people's like, oh, Angel, you're doing too much. That's a saying that I say a lot. Oh, we're doing too much. Let's shorten this out. Let's think this out. Let's write this out nice and clear. Hence, we have the Chronicles of Doing Too Much. All right. So that's a brand. You know, that's a brand, and it's how do you take being overwhelmed and moving a lot of things around and really just kind of calming it down and giving it focus and direction. You know, so when you have that Chronicles of Doing Too Much, you learn a lot. You'll be surprised by trial and error. And then the third question I want you to consider when you guys are identifying your vision statement is, what do you want the culture of your business to look like? And how do you want that to play out amongst those who are around you? So I love this a lot. A lot of the large corporations do taglines. You know, for my direct sales team, I have a team motto that we go by, and it's just amazing because they will tell you all the time because they hear it so often. They will tell you, you know, what the team motto is. They abide by that team motto, and we push forward just based on that team motto. And it all came out of my head because, you know, I do chronicle doing too much. So I had to organize. I had to write it down. I had to have the vision plain and clear and say, what is this that I'm striving to achieve? So you really want to think about what kind of culture do you want to facilitate. You know, with this broadcast, I hope I'm facilitating a culture of we're having, you know, just a living room conversation. We're enjoying these conversations. I'm responding to questions that I may be receiving. I'm sharing my personal life experiences. You know, that's the culture that you can come up and we can talk about a lot of things. And I always try to cite the sources because I don't know everything. So we rely on the experts to help us get to a bigger and better place so we're more informed and well informed. So, you know, what type of culture? So when you're thinking about that vision is going to answer those three questions. You know, what's the ultimate impact that you want your brand to have on your community, industry, or world? What way will your brand ultimately interact with others that you engage in? And then what will the culture of your business or yourself, you know, what will that look like? And how will that play out in the lives of others? So that's really important. So just make sure that you know you're forward thinking with that vision statement. You are using the present tense when you're writing it. It is clear, concise, and jargon free. So no slang. A vision statement should not say we're going to slay the day in 5 years. So let's keep that jargon free, no slang, because in 5 years you might forget what the definition was behind slay. I love the word fleek. I think it was the U.S. rapper Nicki Minaj that she has a song and everything was on fleek. And I would say that so much, but never, please don't ask me what on fleek mean. I was just wanting to say it because it sounds cool. So, so let's keep it out of our vision. We don't want to have any jargon in our vision. And you want to make sure that your vision is that you're showing your passion, that you're inspiring about it. I mean, it's my again. I go back because it's my vision and I'm true to it. I want to be an effective resource. That's showing some passion. Like I want to be effective, not just a resource. I want to be an effective resource because I can give you all the resources in a day, but I want to be effective. I want to be sure that what I'm giving you is showing value. And that inspiration is that I want to make sure you meet and exceed your personal financial goals. We define our own success. You lay it out. You determine if you're a success. I don't think anyone is a failure. I always say we have challenges that we need to overcome, because we define our own success. So if we define our own success, there's no way to fail. All you do is that you have a challenge. Now I've identified this challenge. What success strategies will I put into place to overcome that challenge? So really look at how we look at things and how we think about things because at the end of the day, I want to be so sure that I want to be so sure that we're able to move forward and live our best life possible. And that's with this vision, that's with this mission, and this fact that we're doing it for our businesses or for ourselves in general. Okay, and then you want to make sure that your vision aligns with your values and goals. You know, um, you want to be sure that you're operating with the utmost integrity. You want to be sure that your vision is reflective of who you are as an individual. That's really important because if you're trying to operate and achieve something that isn't solid with you, it doesn't resonate well with who you are, you're going to struggle. So make sure, be true. My friend always tells me, own it. You need to own it. Sometimes I don't like to be inconvenienced. And I feel bad if I don't like to be inconvenienced. Prime example, I dislike going to places where I have to park my own car. Parking my own car is an inconvenience sometimes to me. So I want to go, and if there's valet, I am there. The valet, okay, how much is the valet? As long as it's no astronomical price, my car is going in valet. I like the valet so much that I have the little clip on my keychain so it's easy to take my car key off my keychain so I can valet. And that's just something I own it. My friend tells me all the time, just own it. It doesn't make you any different from anyone else. It's just something that you're true to. I'm not a person that likes to drive. I'm always okay if someone wants to volunteer to drive. So if that's the case, why would I want to have to park my own car? Hey, take it. I'm going to own it. So own who you are and make sure that that vision aligns. So if I had some type of vision align with the car, trust and believe that vision is going to include someone driving me around. This is me being really transparent here. And then you want to have a plan on how you're going to communicate that vision. So if you're in business, you want to talk about a lot about how are you communicating that? I use my vision with my direct sales team is that it's every time I'm live, as many times as I can tell them what the vision or what the goal is with me as a leader. I tell them that all the time. When I do the trainings, they're constantly hearing the vision. They're constantly hearing the team motto. All of the material that I had developed for our team, you always hear the motto, which is all aligned with our vision. So, you have that plan to communicate it because that's how everyone is going to buy into and understand and follow and implement, what you have as a vision because you're making it plain and clear. Set the vision, make it plain and clear. That's biblical. All right. And then make sure that you're prepared to commit the time and resources to the vision you establish. But you definitely when you buy into it, you have bought into it and you want to just go forward. You buy into it, you're into it. So you just push and you just move forward and you got this. Okay, guys? So just go for it. Just go for it. Commit the time, commit the resources. Some days are going to be great. Some days are going to be not so great. But just be committed because you're committed to that vision. And that vision is reflective of who you are. Okay? So now let's go ahead and I'm going to wrap up the last 15 minutes of the show, moving into our mission statement. So we talked a lot about what the mission statement is, and we talk about that the mission statement is the right now. So, it's the action oriented part of your vision statement. It declares your purpose. It's the purpose that you serve to your audience, to your public. So, if you're a business, what's the purpose you're serving to those who what's your purpose to those you serve? So sometimes the mission statement has a general description of the organization. Your mission statement might have your function. Your mission statement may also include your objective. Your mission statement, the ultimate goal of what you define as your mission is the what, the who, and the why. So let me repeat that because I know I just kind of went over a recap of what we talked about last week. That should have been more than enough time for you to get your pen and paper for this week. But for our mission, we want to clarify the what, the who, and the why of the company. All right, so it's the why of the company, the why of your purpose. It is your roadmap. It's the roadmap to your vision statement. So your vision statement is forward thinking. Where do you want to be? Your mission statement is this is what I'm doing to get there. So the good thing about that and with your mission statement and then with your vision statement, when you're effective in achieving those goals and you have it written out nice and plain and nice and clear, you're going to need to revisit periodically. You're going to need to revisit that mission statement. You're going to need to revisit that vision statement, and you're going to need to make adjustments. One of the things that I love in my direct sales business is that I do the personal coaching with those that I sponsor into the business. And I just love it. And I just had a coaching session on Saturday with one of my newest, actually, my newest business partner that I just sponsored into the business. And we just kind of walked everything out, and I talked to her about how to set her goals, and we broke everything down. And then I said, now in 3 months, I want you to evaluate where you are in your strategy and make adjustments. And she asked such a pivotal question, and it sparked an idea for me to do another training for my team, a bigger picture training. And she said, if I don't make the money that I want to make, does that mean that I'm not successful? And the first thing that came out of my mouth was, that's an excellent question. Because remember, we define our own success. So we don't fail, we just have challenges that we need to overcome. And the only way we're going to identify those challenges is that we're constantly looking at what's that mission? How are we moving forward to get to that vision? How are we looking to make that vision come true? And there's going to be times that we have to make adjustments. And it's okay to make those adjustments. It's a necessity to make those adjustments. So make sure that as you're defining all of this and you're getting yourself together, that you are, setting yourself up where you can do those periodic reviews and you are still going to accomplish your goal, but you're accomplishing your goal the smart and effective way because you're smart enough to know that every now and then you need to make some adjustments. When you get that challenge and it's an obstacle, you're going to make that adjustment. And a lot of times, this is just completely my personal opinion here, but a lot of times it makes it difficult for us when we're so married to an idea. We are so committed to that idea that we don't necessarily think about all of the other impacts that this particular idea may have on different communities. Or we don't necessarily really write out who our target audience is, who's our targeted demographic. And we're going to talk about that more as we go through this. And we're so committed to that, and we're so short sighted, and we're not, doing those evaluations, periodic evaluations to define our challenges, then, and say, okay, now how do we overcome these challenges to move forward? That a lot of times we're the cause of our own demise because of that stubbornness. or that pride. Sometimes I myself, another transparent moment, I myself can be very prideful. I don't want to ask for help. I don't want. I've got it. I got it. Even though help would be really nice, but I got it. You know, running myself then to the point where I cause illness on myself because that pride gets in the way of asking for help or being so committed that certain things have to be done a certain way that I end up working harder and not smarter. So let's just make sure that, we are committed to the goal. We know what the goal is. We know what we want to do, and we're being true to our morals and values. But we really want to know what impact that we're trying to make for on those who we serve. So being sure that we humble ourselves and stay open minded that we're evaluating, periodically and identifying those challenges and making adjustments accordingly. So for my business partner, when she said, does this, if I don't achieve this, does that mean I'm a failure? And it's no, because we're going to identify where you are and on chart. And if you are having challenges, long before we get to that 12-month period, because we're going to be evaluating quarterly. Quite frankly, I like for you to evaluate monthly, and then we can break it even down because there's a lot of times we do events in my company. I need to break it down at every single event, evaluate every single event. Because if you don't know what your strengths and weaknesses are at one, how you want to define and target and, refine, little things that you do for the next. Because we define our own success. So let's make sure we're working smarter and not harder. So let's talk about some examples. What are some mission statement examples? We talked a lot about the how to. The mission statement is how do you get to that vision? So the mission statement is the who, the what, and the why. So I'm going to read off some really good mission statements, just from various companies, just to give you an idea of what some good mission statements is. So, mission statement for life is good to spread the power of optimism. Okay, that works for me. Sweet Green. I like Sweet Green. This is a chain restaurant. They have all types of salads. And their mission is to inspire healthier communities by connecting people to real food. Love it. Very appropriate for Sweet Green. And when you go in there, that you can tell 100% that that's what they're dedicated to, connecting people to real food. They fly everything in fresh. It's delicious. All right. Patagonia. Build the best product. Cause no unnecessary harm. Use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. Just that simple. They're building the best product. They're not causing any unnecessary harm. And their business is going to be used to inspire and implement solutions to our environmental problems. Awesome. It told us the who, the what, and the why. American Express. Oh, my favorite. We work hard every day to make American Express the world's most respected service brand. You guys know when you pull out your American Express card, you got to get a little confidence in with that. When you pull out that American Express card and you're making a purchase on that American Express, and that purchase has to be paid in full at the end of the month, you know that you're like, this is the I arrived. I call the American Express the I arrived credit card, okay? And so when you have that American Express, that's exactly what it is. That's their mission. It's a respected service brand. Because when you pull that card out and you get that card, and I remember when I got approved for an American Express, I was so excited. You could not tell me anything. I had so much excited for the American Express. So it is just one of those things, guys, that they are committed to their mission and they do it effectively. And then even with American Express, go down into the businesses, where they have Small Business Saturday. That's sponsored by American Express. That's normally the Saturday after Thanksgiving. That's respected. That's a respected service brand. They're committed to the community. I like Honest Tea to create and promote great tasting, healthy, organic beverages. Now, those of us who like a little sugar rush, Honest Tea is not for us. But it's organic, it has a natural sweetener in it, and it's delicious. Those of us who don't like all of that sugar, organic tea, Honest Tea is perfect for us. IKEA, one of my favorite places to get shelving units and organization systems for my house, um, to create a better everyday life for the many people. Their stuff is affordable. Their stuff taught me how to use an Allen wrench effectively. And their items keep me organized. So that helps me create, a better life every day, a better everyday life. Because my things are organized, I'm learning how to use tools, and I'm not spending a lot of money. All right. Nordstrom, to give customers the most compelling shopping experience possible. Absolutely, Nordstrom. Prezi, to reinvent how people share knowledge, tell stories, and inspire their audiences to act. So if you don't know what Prezi is, this interactive presentation software. I mean, it's all online. So it's like how Microsoft Word PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint on steroids. And you can do all types of cool things in the Prezi presentation. I love the product. I use it. You can do it for a small fee, monthly fee, but it's perfect. It's to reinvent how people share knowledge, tell stories, and inspire the audiences to act. It really helps to keep everything interactive. And then I'm going to end with TED for TED Talks. And their mission statement is very simple: spread ideas. I love it. Spread ideas. How often do we listen to TED Talks? They're spreading ideas. They're creating change. They're stimulating our minds. We're learning so much from various subject matter experts. We're looking at things differently. I love TED. I love TED Talks. And they are just spreading ideas. So as you look at the mission statements and compare them to what your vision is forward thinking. Your mission is what are we doing right now? The who, the what, and the why. And you don't need it to be long and drawn out. But if you feel that you need to add some words, add some words. But you want to be crisp and concise. Because when you're crisp, then that means you're straight to the point. You're not trying to convince yourself that this is the proper way to achieve your goal, that this is the proper way to achieve your mission. You are confident that this is, I'm sorry, to achieve your vision. You are confident that that's how that's going to happen. One of the things that I say to my direct sales team all the time, and I use them because this is definitely a vision and a mission that I have. And we buy into the company that we're a part of, but also we buy into the team because they're going to love me first as a leader and then everything else that we do. So I have to exhibit good leadership skills. And that's just, basic fact when you're doing any type of service industry. That people are going to love you first and then your product. They're going to love you first and then your service. We don't go to just any doctor or just any therapist. We go to a therapist that we buy into, that we have built a relationship with, or we feel like we can foster trust with. But when I look at that and we look at the vision and we look at the mission and what we're buying into, we want to be crisp. So it's no questions asked. We know exactly what it is that we're doing. We know exactly what it is where we're going. And we know exactly what the who, the what, and the why. We know exactly what it is. So I challenge you guys today to finish crafting that nice, clear vision. And then after you have that, start putting together your mission so you know what that mission is to achieve that goal. And I look forward to talking to you on Wednesday night before our next episode of the Chronicles of Doing Too Much. Have a great night.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember, you define your own success. Believe you can do it, build a solid foundation, know your circle, and soar. Until next time.